while, it starts turning the other way.
Ready, guys?
Anyway, Kip, like I told you, every year, it's the same thing for me. And I have an inner Lee Trevino, and I really focus on that. And I'm a field type player. I do better when I focus on field. And every year when I start out, I'll choke down on that club, open my stance, put the ball back, and just try to hit a low draw. You know, and I hit...
In your practice?
Yeah, I hit a lot of shots. I mean, you know, that shot ain't worth a crap going into a green. It's too low and all that, but at the same time, you know, that one was a little thin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch that ball good, you know.
Why do you? I like what you're doing, but why would you practice this and play the other way, where you say you're cutting? Why do you do that?
Well, I think drawing it's harder to do.
Yeah, I understand a point. Part of it makes sense if you want to minimize your cuts, that you work on draws a lot, but then you get to the tournament and then you line up and hit cuts. But
well, I pretty much line up and hit whichever way it's going that day.
That day, huh?
I don't really try to shape it too much on the course anymore. I used to when I was a little stronger.
Yeah.
Now I can't put any spin on it, so it goes straight anyway.
I see.
I mean, I don't lose the ball anymore. I mean, because
Yeah.
I don't hit it far enough to lose it.
Hit it straight, don't you?
But, you know, what winds up happening when it comes tournament time, it's like, okay, the main thing I'll be focusing on most times is just finish position. And that falls, that's kind of typical of me, right?
Yeah.
Little thin cut.
Yeah.
It's kind of where it's at most of the time.
Well, you got some good stuff going on there.
But I like to choke down on this club and think, okay, I'll see if I can hit a low cut. And there's a low cut.
You did it.
Wasn't hit good, but I really love to try to hit the ball lower most of the time, in practice especially. See if I can hit a low cut. That's the hardest shot for me to hit.
Nice and solid. I don't know if it cut or the wind cut it.
But that's kind of like that's what I wind up working on. And most of the time, when I just swing at it without a lot of thought process, that's when I get into this right wrist unloading, this sort of action.
Mm-hmm.
Club's outside the line. It's bottoming out early. So, what do you think?
Fat thin, fat thin, fat thin. Yeah, I think that's pretty common with a guy who's his main motor is this right here in his golf swing. And
well, that's me.
It's less of that. If you could make this your motor, you would always be getting better. Always getting better. If this is the motor of your golf swing.
Okay.
And let this swing the arms. I teach a lot of pivot.
Arms off.
Yeah, I teach a lot. Well, I mean, you got to move your arms and they got to come down, but you have to put the series in order, the perfect order. And this right here needs to be the lead in the golf swing. This right here. I see your finish right there. You cut, even though you're almost to balanced, you got your right foot like this. So that tells me he's a guy who hasn't completely fired over to his left foot. If you moved all your weight up here, you would be like this. You hit every ball like this.
Right.
So you're just doing a lot of it with your arms.
Yeah.
And even you, I know we're not as 16 and super flexible, but it's still, if you could make that your motor, you'd be better.
So I need to focus more on the chest and the hips and everything.
Hips as much as anything. Because you see Ben Hogan, of course a lot of us have screwed our game up trying to swing like Hogan, but the best players in the world and the furthest hitters, they all like this, and before their backswing finishes, that thing's already unwinding from the bottom up, from the ground up, you know.
Okay.
And all my lessons practically, I see this.
Yeah.
And this is trailing everything. The body's trailing the arm swing.
That's the part I need to fix.
Yep. Yeah, you need
better at.
get better at.
Be a
get better at it. And it'll throw off your timing a little bit when you learn to finish and start ripping that left hip pocket behind you, like this right here. That'll help you a lot. But I would teach you first is to do this, because you finish like this. So I know you're not, yeah, all the way up on that toe. So you're all the way out. Stuart Sink spent the last 7 or 8 years not playing his best golf, and he worked bad into a hangback. I don't know if his back caused it or what, but he worked hard. He didn't know it, but we used to walk by and kind of laugh at his fall through. Well, when his back went out this past year, and him and his teacher decided, when I get well, let's fix it. And now he's starting to finish on his straight up and down, posting on his left foot, and I mean, he's added yardage. He is driving it like Greg Norman used to drive it. He's really turning his big game around. It's awesome. So you can fix it.
Well, I remember I started off the game 5 fundamentals of hope.
Yeah, that'll never. A guy asked me the other day, is that still relevant? I said, it'll always be relevant.
That's how I started off swing playing. I had a flat swing. I had a wider stance, and I would drag this foot. Matter of fact, I ruined shoes.
Yeah.
I ruined shoes because I dragged that foot. I would get the corner of the shoe on.
Yeah.
I took a lesson from Dave Reagan. You probably remember
Sure.
that name. Dave took some lessons from old Byron Nelson back in the day, and Dave could really hit it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
Or not, but
Dave helped me.
that guy could really hit it.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, okay, you can be a little flatter even. He said, but you got to finish.
Around.
You got to finish on that toe.
You've crept back into your old stuff. You sit there and hit every ball like this.
Well, I think I played in tennis shoes for so many years.
Yeah.
And tennis shoes are soft on the bottom.
Yeah.
They won't stand up on the toe.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of the reason I need to get me some golf shoes.
Yeah, it's something supportive and stuff.
So that's it. I feel you on that. And it's like, okay, yeah. Trying to get the right hip past my right ear is more.
I never thought about that. I just think it's too much of a lateral action in most guys' hip action instead of this right here. Turning it.
Okay.
Turning it big time.
All right, well,
Not
see.
so much sliding it. Sliding, Mike, you're gonna lose. I mean, there's something to mass moving into the ball. There's something to that. But if I go in a circle, if I had a 20-foot string with a ball on it at the end of it, and I went like this, what would happen to that as soon as I go sideways?
It'd slow down.
It'd slow down a lot. So as soon as I cut the motor off, this is your motor. All right?
Well, let me see if I can do something with that. I ain't gonna try to do nothing with this ball. I'm just gonna try to turn my body.
Attaboy. Just turn hard and then finish in balance. See, look at that right foot. Ain't good. Yeah. If you're really driving hard and firing to that left foot and turning hard through the thing and not controlling your golf swing with your arms, you would finish a lot more in balance.
It's so strange that I used to could do it, and I don't know why I would have ever.
Well, we
stopped.
creep into crap habits.
Yeah.
Look here, you're starting to post up a little bit more on that left side right there. That even seemed to have a little bit more zip to it on that swing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I know the concept of what you're talking about.
Even though I know you were just hitting a lot of punch shots, and now you're starting to swing a little bit more full, but there's some zip on that I didn't see before.
Okay.
Nice. Let's hit a ball one time with your left toe pointed out just a little bit. A lot of guys that are super explosive with their hips and they're trying to catch their arms up to there's not many, but sometimes guys feel like they get too fast with the hips. I don't know if I hear a lot of guys talking about it. I haven't seen it too much. A guy whose hips are too fast, I just don't see it much at all.
Okay.
And something else is going wrong.
Okay.
But I can't remember where I was going with that. Oh, I want your left toe turned out just a little bit. And guys that feel like they're too explosive with their hips, they'll toe their left toe in a little bit. And that it kind of restricts the, you know, if you had your left hip, I mean, that left toe turned out here, you could finish your turn more and complete and faster through the hit. So at address, just kick your left toe out just a little bit. Like that. There you go. Now then, just feel that motor turning fast. And get over there. So you're not over there again. You're back still.
Hanging back.
The best swing yet, the most zip you had on the ball yet, you were over there a lot more on your left side, posted up.
So you think I'm hanging back?
Yeah, yeah, you are.
I need to get through it and turn.
Turn. Get that motor going right here. Let this be your dang motor.
All right.
Fire that left hip and finish over there. Post up over there. That's better. It'll mess with your timing, but you say you hit a lot of practice balls. It won't take you no time to get the feeling of that moving through the hit more. And when you do, you'll be able to, here, get set up. If you get good at pulling this, all right, look here, turning. Everybody talks about how, you know, they try to swing like Hogan again, keep that angle, and they do it with their hands and arms. It doesn't work. Because if you get here and your body shuts down, the motor stops, there's gonna be nowhere for you to go. So you're gonna start to pull on the handle, the head's gonna run down, your hands are gonna be back, and the shaft's gonna be vertical to the ground a lot.
So the lower body and the body itself has got to turn. To keep this in position.
Hogan's pivot was
If you
easily.
stop,
it's gonna. That's right. That thing. If you slow it down, that thing's gonna go down towards the ground on you. But Hogan was able to fire that pivot like crazy. He was so explosive, and he could retain that angle.
Well, I understand what you're talking about, and I think I can certainly improve in that direction.
I see a lot of good things in your swing. Your grip's nice. Look at that, Mikey. How good is that? Nice divot on that ball. I mean, that's really solid right there.
That's what I want.
Ball's up in the air, so you can play on hard greens there. That's beautiful.
So I get the feel for that, and I mean, that shows you how off track that I've been.
Well,
like I told you before, you know, I probably played my best golf at about age 40.
Yeah.
20 years ago. And when I was a kid, I told you, I was around here and I was turning this way.
Right.
And everybody told me, that was back near Nicholas here, everybody's telling me, well, your swing is too flat. But I hit the ball good.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, I've heard enough of this crap. I'm going to Jack Nicklaus. So I started swinging my left arm inside the line, and I stuck the club up in the air.
Yeah.
And I played my best golf like that because I could hit it straight.
Yeah.
But I never did really mash it, I didn't think, like I used to. So it's funny. When I turned 55, I'm like, okay, that was 3 years ago. I'm like, I'm going to improve my swing so that I can beat these guys on this senior amateur thing.
Yeah.
And then I went on this swing evolution thing that got me where I can't play.
I wonder what happened. You know, I see a couple of really good things. You do this right here. When you start down, you have a little arched left wrist. Those guys, every person that's learned to play the game, you see some bad players with arched left wrists. Usually they get it really cranked because their grip's bad. But any good player that's learned his arch his left wrist and become a good player, those are the straightest players on earth. You have a little arched left wrist, so I can see where you could play the same ball for 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, I put 30-something miles on a Callaway down in Florida. So get that body turning.
Yes, and I love the shaft swinging flat and around you. Golf knowledge has gotten way. You know, get this. I had a this is not be great for a lot of the old teaching pros and stuff will holler at me for this. The worst golf lesson I ever had in my life, Jack Nicklaus's teacher, Jack Grout. The worst lesson I ever had. In hindsight, yes. I went to see him in '82. And
what did he tell you, reverse pivot? All
I just won our state open, you know, at Valley Brook, beat all the best players. I was just coming into my own. I had tour school coming up in the fall, and I went to him for golf lessons. The worst mistake I ever made in my golf life was that right there. Cost me a lot of money, and
I can relate, dude.
the tour school was right around the corner. I just won the state open. I was making 7, 8, 10 birdies every time I played golf. I mean, I was just becoming a guy. And he changed the way I eat breakfast. I mean, he changed everything about what I did. And I believed it was the gospel coming. It was a terrible, terrible decision.
People make mistakes like that, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
It ruins people, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does.
I had a theory a few years ago in golf that my thought process is never try to be better than good. Because once you try to improve on good,
Yeah,
you're really gonna, you know, good is good.
yeah.
It only gets so good in this game.
Huh.
I mean, does anybody perfect this?
No, you can never perfect it. But boy, I like chasing perfection. I love chasing perfection. But I'm not saying Jack Grouse not the reason I didn't make it on tour, but that was at the time, it was a terrible, and I'm not saying what he gave me had a lot of validity to it, but it was a terrible timing on my behalf. I wasn't smart enough to go, wait a minute, this is too soon to where I need to be at my peak form to, you know, and maybe I'm doing it improperly, but I'm doing it good, you know. So there's something to what you're saying too.
Well, I can understand what you're telling me to do.
All right, get that toe turned out. There you go. And if work hard on driving that pivot through all the way through to the finish and get over there. You're still a little back right there even. I want to see you hit a couple balls and just wind up all the way like this. Even if you lose your balance, you're still, even with your best one, Mike's a lot of this right here. So work hard on firing and then get over there on the left foot big time. Beautiful, that's better. That's more zip through that hit.
Well, it's like
The tornado, he's gonna be happy you're doing this. That's your main partner, ain't it?
Hey, Jeff, you're going to have to get a saddle. Put it on me. Size extra small.
Fraction behind that, but still, you can still finish way more over there. You've ingrained a little bit of, you're not completely tilted back, but you're a little bit tilted back on your finish, yeah.
Okay. So I can still, you're saying get through it and
Yeah,
all
turn.
the way through it?
Yes, turn through, and if you have to Gary Player a couple balls, you know, to where you, even if you finish over here, it would be.
Megan told me to stand straight on my left leg.
There you go.
Down.
No, you've crept away from
I
that.
wanted none of that, right?
You've crept away from that.
Byron Nelson was right on that left leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Or I think I understand.
That's beautiful. There you go. Where'd that go?
Right at it.
Had a little bit more air under it too, didn't it? That's good. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
That's the best teacher. He'll say that, how'd that feel? Felt great. Well, then do that. Just
Let's see what happens if I really accentuate that.
that'll be. Get over there. Fire and get over there. Dude, I see your left hip spinning faster. That's good. You got your motor cranking faster, Mikey.
Yeah.
I mean, those last two
That
balls.
ball's going 15 yards further too, ain't it?
It sure is. I mean, how good were those that last two?
Well, the thing I love, and you can probably relate to this, I really, when I'm playing good golf, which don't happen very often, I do not want to see any visible curve on that ball.
Really? That's good.
I want to just hit it right.
It looks
at
like you hit it straight, man. I love it, what I'm seeing. Look at you. Little pull in that. It's all right, though. I mean, that's on the left side of the
What
green.
do you think causes something like that versus?
Well, it's simple. Now, what caused the face to be that way, but the ball started left because the face points left. It's easy to understand on this right here now. That it was confusing when I was a kid. Yeah, Mike, where that ball starts is about 80 to 90% of where that face is pointing at impact.
So that must have been a little outside in with the face aim left.
Face was definitely aiming a little bit more left than the ball's forward because the ball started left. It didn't curve.
Okay.
So if you think about it like this will help your golf game. If the ball starts left, starts straight, or starts right, that means the face is left, it's straight, or it's right. Which way it curves is the path.
Gotcha.
So if you start it left and the ball falls to the right, the face is left, your path is left, and that makes the ball fall to the right.
So realistically, in 30 minutes or so, you have told me how to get better.
Oh yeah.
And I've not only you told me, but I also understood it.
That about it.
So it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I got to get more of.
Yes, look at that.
I got to get my shoe fixed. I've done this for 15 or 20 years, and it's like I understand what you're talking about. How I got to get up on the toe.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to take some work.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately I can do that and return to that. I need to get a good pair of golf shoes with a hard sole.
Yeah.
Because the tennis shoes is collapsing.
There's something to that. A lot of people wouldn't believe what you're saying, but there's something to that. You know, the old FootJoy, the old hard leather shoes, they were so much more supportive than these shoes now today that the guys wear, the lightweight.
That's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the FootJoy Classic with something that hard leather. If they even still make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like, okay, now I can see how that move, if I make that move, I mean, I don't have to really worry about the rest of it, and I don't care if I hit it good or not, you know that. And I shake.
A little thin. Look at that right foot. And look at that tilt too. Yeah. Even your great ones, you're still hanging back some, but it's better. I see more zip in the golf swing. That's nice, huh?
Yeah, I mean that's what I want.
A little bit left, but it's great strike.
The contact.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some speed, a little bit more speed for sure. I mean, you hit those two that the ball flew 15 yards further, at least 10 further in the air.
Right.
And that's just from getting that motor going there, bud.
You probably understand this as much as anybody. For me, if you can't hit the ball solid like that with an iron, you can't hit greens.
No.
Because you can't select your club if you mishit it.
Right.
But if you hit it solid like that,
then you're going to start getting the clubs going the same distance that you know every time it's going to fly a certain distance.
Then you can hit a bunch of greens, and
yeah.
You hit 10, 12 greens, the game's a little bit easier than you hit 4.
No doubt.
So.
Oh, Brian Gay used to hit those irons, man. A monkey could pull his clubs because he knew that 9-iron was going to fly 138 yards, I mean, or 42 or whatever it was.
So really, to boil this down to what you've showed me here, you've told me it's like, okay, I got to get the motor running the car.
Right.
The arm, instead of being an arm swinger, I need to be a this, and I got to work on my footwork.
Mm-hmm.
I got to work on my footwork to get my.
Look at that.
Right.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, that's plenty to work on, don't you
Yeah,
think?
you got so much great stuff going on with that little arch left wrist you got. The shaft lays down just great for you. I don't see any reason you couldn't just incorporate this pretty fast.
Oh yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah.
And I hit enough balls that I can get there.
These boys, oh yeah, that's right. You can do it.
I can get
You can practice that inside, you know.
Yeah, man.
Turn that. If you got this motor turning through the hit, you can keep that club pulling through. It won't outrun you.
That's great to hear you say that, because I can understand it.
That about it.
And I think I can actually do it. So.
I wonder if you would have took in as much without that helmet, or you would have been a little bit more confused.
Well,
I think that's part of your power.
What people don't understand is my head is actually pointed like that, and I got like 86% more brain than most people. So, you know what I'm saying? So let's see you hit one.
You want me to hit one?
Yeah, man.
All right. I got my fancy new glasses on, so the balls are like
oh gosh,
a little bit closer to me than
that's awful.
I'm normal.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thinned it.
You've been watching me. You picked up all my habits.
Thinned it.
Get my shot.
Well, just hit one more. I might take these off. Oh yeah, now the ball's about a foot further from you than it
Well,
normally.
that's a big difference. I hate glasses for sure.
The moving ball. Would that be a penalty in today's world? I don't think
I don't think so.
Not in the new feel-good rules, would it? Oh, I fatted it.
See, on my swing thoughts. It's like osmosis.
I hit it kind of okay yesterday. I drove it like Greg Norman and didn't iron it very good yesterday. There's one in a row. A little bit of tiny tug.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so how'd y'all like that?
We buy golf. He buys golf.